Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us today in this virtual experience. I'm Gui Carvalhal, Scale Partners Director for Microsoft, and I'm here with Stephen Tanaka.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Stephen Tanaka. I'm here from Microsoft Canada. I run our services partner organization and happy to be at BTEX 2020.
Okay, so before we jump into the specific questions on how Microsoft and CDW are working together, let's talk about CDW first. They have been through some acquisitions in the past few years and really moving the business to become more and more services oriented to drive consumption to our customers, making sure they're using the cloud and the products they're paying for. So with that, Stephen, what are you seeing in the market today that's happening across Canada, and why this move to the services is becoming so important?
Yeah, thanks for that, Guy. You know, from a market perspective, COVID's been here for over 8 months, and it's not going away anytime soon. We've seen the employees at our customers having to work from home. They've had to get their hardware, their systems, their software all enabled at home to be able to work. And through that, what we're seeing is an opportunity around customers are thinking about, this is going to be here longer term. How do I optimize the customer's environment? The customers are asking for that environment to be optimized. They have multiple software products doing the same thing. They haven't necessarily rolled out a programmatic way to kind of manage their hardware. So I think there's huge opportunities from a market perspective for CDW to play that. CDW sells hardware, they sell software, they're in the services business. In their services business, they focus on cloud services, cloud security, and cloud operations. You know, so those three dimensions are really key to kind of servicing the customer end to end.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a very important point, which is all about how we serve the customers in a better way moving forward, right? Making sure they have the right business solution in front of them. With this in mind, today we have this challenge with people working from home, right? And people are having to buy new devices and really understand how to bring the new productivity tools in place for them to stay connected. CDW is very strong when you think about the Surface business, right? The Surface business in partnership with the modern workplace business, when they come together, they become very powerful. Mm-hmm. In your perspective, what's happening in this area today and how CDW is helping our customers?
Yeah, thanks, Guy. When you think about the hardware side of the business, everybody needs a notebook or desktop or devices to be able to work remotely at home. CDW today supplies that hardware. Where there's an opportunity there, especially on the Surface and modern workplace story, is one great example is thinking about being able to update the software remotely, being able to update the hardware remotely. Surface devices have every device actually has what's called a BIOS, which is really effectively the code on the computer that tells the computer how to work. You know, by using a Microsoft platform and a Surface, you can update that remotely without having any user intervention, as one example. Another great example is just from a hardware perspective. The old way was, let me create an image on a machine, let me somehow get that out to a user. In today's more modern world, people use what's called autopilot. Autopilot's a technology that really allows anybody to take any device and really log into their organization and have it automatically just roll out and populate the operating system with the right applications. You know, CDW really has that expertise to help our customers in that kind of automated state while we continue to be working from home.
And Stephen, when you talk about that, it resonated a lot to me, the security element. Right, we're talking about this inside Microsoft because we know how relevant it is to our customers today, and especially because some customers, believe it or not, they're not so clear like what security actually means. Right? You talk about my data is not protected when running Office 365. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, from a security perspective, think about this as many clients are running from home and you're not sure about how secure that environment. The first piece of that is securing the physical device. And so you really need some management software that really allows you to do that. And so when you think about CDW and their cloud security services, you know, doing mobile management systems, using particularly Microsoft Intune to potentially help you do that. Very key to be able to manage the hardware so that you can control whether you want that on or off, or prevent any kind of unwanted breach onto the hardware. The next layer you really have to think about is the identity layer. And most people think of identity as, let me enter my user ID, let me enter my password, but you really need to have an extra layer of security, and that usually is two-factor authentication, another level of protection, saying who you really are. Microsoft's technology really enables that through our two-factor authentication that really just lights up your phone to become that second authentication device, makes it really easy. And then the third element of that is protecting the applications and data associated with that. And that's where CDW's cloud security can really help in terms of consulting a customer end-to-end, all the way from the hardware to the cloud software on how to kind of provide that end-to-end security.
That's a great perspective. Thank you for that. So security on the device, security as an identity, and security on the data. Right? So it's much more than just that. When we go to the public cloud, right, and really moving the business applications to run on Azure, right, we see that CDW is also starting to help customers more and more to manage that environment. And that's very specific, right? It's not just making sure they have the right business solution, but how they're going to manage that environment to make sure it's not going to become too expensive when they move to the cloud, or they are also secure, right, and protected. So how do you see CDW in the Azure space for public cloud?
Yeah. You know, from a market perspective, we've seen the customers really put all their net new or augment their workloads into the cloud. No one's buying new hardware and putting it in a data center. And so we really rely on our partner ecosystem to really help our customers through that. CDW has what's called an Azure Expert MSP certification. That designation by Microsoft attests as, hey, CDW has a certain level of credentials that allows them the capability to architect, implement, operate, and manage this end-to-end cloud. And we're seeing that trend more often, Guy, where customers are saying, hey, I really want to stick to what I'm really good at in my business. Maybe I should actually have somebody else take a look at this and manage this in an ongoing and operated day-to-day for me.
Yeah, that's good. And actually, this explains a lot your role, right? That's why we're the services leader, because this became very critical for every customer business. We have to make sure we have the right partners for that. And when I say that, this reminds me co-sell, right? This is something we talk a lot inside Microsoft. How can you explain to the customers the benefit of Microsoft and CDW co-selling, right? Which actually bringing the right solutions to the customers.
Yeah. Customers really want choice, and so there's no one vendor or one particular technology player that can provide that solution end-to-end. Microsoft's own ecosystem really relies on a partner-based ecosystem, partners that can resell hardware, software services, can make different software as a services applications. You know, there's 11,400 partners in the Microsoft partner network alone. And so CDW plays an important role to be almost this partner-to-partner aggregator to bring that right solution to the end customer. That's why I think the partner-to-partner piece is just so important, so customers do have that choice on what's right for their business.
Yeah, great. Well, more than 11,000 partners just in Canada. Right? So let's get to the end of our conversation here, Stephen. And we talk about modern workplace, we talk about Azure, right? We navigate to the impact that CDW can bring to the customers. Now let's talk about the customers a little bit, right? We're missing to be in front of them now with the pandemic. We're here social distant, right? When you look at the customers today, especially the enterprise that you spend time with, what do you see is happening with them that they can actually leverage CDW superpowers?
Yeah, the enterprise customers, they generally have large RT organizations, and so they really need the expertise and the help as we really have moved and transitioned to the cloud at really fast speeds when you think about it in the last 6 months. CDW has over 200 technical consultants that are focused around that area. That's a lot of technical intensity and horsepower that can actually help bring that capability to our enterprise customers. And so that's one of the CDW's strengths, I think, is the size of their services organization that can really focus to help our customers on that end-to-end journey. And maybe I'll turn it back to you, Guy. Just given that your expertise around our small, medium business at Microsoft, what are your thoughts around kind of CDW and the impact that they can have in our small, medium business?
Yeah, one thing that I love about CDW is that capability they have to really expand across Canada, right? And really touch so many customers out there. Most of these small businesses, they know CDW for the hardware they're selling, right? From the keyboard, mouse, to the laptops, and sometimes the servers. And I think this is what CDW can really bring on behalf of Microsoft, is how to expand the Microsoft portfolio with other solutions, other vendors that can complement what the small business is looking for. Not only that, CDW has more than 300 people representing Microsoft every day in front of the customers. So our goal is to enable CDW to be their best, making sure they're driving the right business solution and helping those customers to understand what they can do with Azure and what they can do with Microsoft 365, not just today, where we're all using more and more cloud, but in the future as well as they keep driving digital transformation. Stephen, any final thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for allowing Microsoft to be part of BTEX 2020. Microsoft really operates with a principle of trust, and that's the first and foremost principle of Microsoft and how we operate with our customers. With CDW, I believe the trust is really there with their capabilities, right from cloud services to cloud security to cloud operations. I think CDW is the partner you can count on to help trust you bring your organization to the cloud. And with that, thank you very much.